Ah, ah, ow, Didi. Ah,
Yeah.
what is this? What is this plant here? It's huge. It's attacking me. Oh,
It's not attacking you. Be careful with my plant.
oh, well, it should be careful with me. Look at these points. What is this thing, Didi? What is it?
It's a milk thistle and it's a beautiful plant. And maybe it wants to tell you something.
Well, it's sort of telling me to go away, isn't it?
No, it's not telling you to go away. It wants you to pay attention. And if you look at it closely, it might tell you a little bit more about yourself. Maybe
Yeah.
more than you can imagine. Because this plant is really related to wood elements and to the liver. It's actually a liver plant. So if the liver is really under stress,
Like I was just now, right?
yeah, you get really irritated. And if you come close, it says go away. But if you really go into the plant
Yeah.
and be careful and you touch the leaves, it's really soft.
Is it? I mean, but
Yeah.
it's almost hard to get there, isn't it?
And see, maybe we can find a snail somewhere. Because, well, you can see that it's eaten by snails, but here is one. You can see that they find their way
Look
into
at
the
that.
plant.
There's a snail there.
Yeah,
That's incredible. How did it get there?
well, it was just very gentle. But what else does it do? Because this, maybe you should show where it grows.
Yeah, because
It just,
look at this.
see, there's our house and there's the window that we,
Yeah.
from when we're eating, when we're doing our stuff.
So you could say it's really drawing attention this spring, isn't it? I mean,
It really is.
it started out very small, but now it's humongous. It's big.
Actually, we didn't plant this milk thistle here. Last year we had this very little plant, like this one standing beside it. It's hardly there. And this year, a seed.
Look at this one. This is the same plant as this one. Can you imagine?
Yeah. So this year, this plant decided to stand here, and well, what does it tell us? The milk thistle. Oh, look that's beautiful, isn't it? It's a great plant also for bees and bumblebees. I do love that.
It's drawing all these little insects to it, isn't it? And
Yeah, and that's beautiful. So, but what does it tell about you? It made us look inside and let us go wonder if we come from a right place. Do we come from a place of stress? Do we come of a place of frustration? Or do we come from a place of abundance? And do we feel challenged to be creative? And well, that's what this plant is. It's a child playing. That's what the wood element is standing for. It's like springtime, it's playing. And if you look at the plant, well, maybe you can go back a little bit, but if you see it, there's not a lot of structure. It's all over the place.
Exactly. It's like chaos, isn't it? It sort of goes its own way, and it's like almost like a sculpture, isn't it?
It is. And the beautiful thing is, maybe I can get one. This is where all the goodness is coming from. It's the seeds.
Oh, look
That's
at that.
what you use if you use it as a medicine. That's where the goodness is coming from.
Yeah.
So this seed, what you can do is you can make tea of it. You can make tinctures out of it. And what does it do? It actually detox the liver, and also it can actually repair liver tissue.
Wow.
So it's a really powerful plant. So
Yeah, it's amazing.
yeah, so it does a lot on the physical body, but also the emotional body. Because when your liver is really clean and abundant, or how do you say?
Vibrant,
really
I think.
Vibrant, that's the word. Then you feel much better. You can, well, that creativity, what I was talking about earlier, it's so important to be creative in your life, because when you can be creative from a really good place, then you can live your life's purpose.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
you have a chance to live from your life's purpose.
Isn't it amazing that this plant can tell us that about ourselves, and just that it shows up in our garden and saying to us, be creative.
Yeah, exactly. And every time somebody comes in here, because, well, you're teaching here in this
is
garden.
My teaching space, yeah.
So every time somebody passes, people see this plant, and if they really pay attention,
look at it. You can almost not get around it. I mean, it's like, wow, yeah.
And people can feel that energy if they're open to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a herb that I use a lot for people. But let me show you another one.
Yeah, there's something behind it that's actually drawing a lot of attention too, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was looking at before. And at the moment it's a little bit quiet around this plant. But in the mornings, in the early mornings, it's full of bees and bumblebees. And this maybe even more than that one. So it's... but what you see here, this is the opposite from that plant.
Yeah.
It's really structured, it's standing tall, it's really a proud plant. And this belongs to the metal elements.
Metal element, okay.
Metal. And metal is more about structure, it's more about planning. So it has a whole different energy about it. What it's related to, it's the lungs. And the lungs are, if they're not in balance, they're holding on to sadness. So sadness is one of the things that's a theme around the metal element.
And what's the name of this plant?
This is mullein. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right. In Dutch it's called toorts.
Yeah, which translates as like a torch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is interesting because if you look at it, it looks like a torch.
Yeah, it's
like on fire.
Like burning.
Yeah.
And that's an interesting story about this plant, because when people in the old days, maybe it's still somewhere it's used this way, but when people died, people would they would take this plant, cut it off, and take it to the grave. And what their beliefs was, the energy of this plant would help to get the person that died to bring him to the light, so it would not wander around in a space that it could not find its way up to where it should be.
Wow.
And that's an interesting story.
Absolutely.
Coming back to yourself, what it's telling us, sadness, what are you holding on to? And can you let go of your sadness? And maybe this plant can tell you, who are you holding on to that maybe should have a chance to go into the light?
Go into the light, yeah.
And maybe that can even be part of yourself, maybe your old self that you want to let go of, that you cannot use anymore. So it's a very spiritual plant.
Yeah, it sure looks like it as well.
Yeah. And it's related to the lungs. So what it does on a physical level is that you can make oils, tincture, and the oil is really good for clearing up all the slime when you have a cold or something.
Like damp.
Yeah, the damp, and you put the oil around the nose and
all the airways in your body. Yeah,
exactly, and it really clears up all the slime.
Yeah.
So and you can see it's another detox kind of a way, if you get rid of all that damp, in another way than that one. So it's completely different, but it also really helps to look at yourself again. So glad that this grows around us, and that we can, talk to these plants in a way to see what they have to tell us about ourselves.
Yeah, that's just amazing. It's like your garden is your mirror, isn't it?
Exactly.